Welcome to episode 9 of season 2 of the My Adventures with Superman podcast, reviewing episode 9 of season 2 of the animated series titled Pierce the Heavens Superman. This aired on July 7th. The story was written by Jake Wyatt and directed by Jen Bennett. In Brainiac's simulation, Kal-El attempts to befriend a Sun Eater his Kryptonian parents have caged in the science lab when he's interrupted by his mother Lara. As Lois emerges into the simulation, having put on the Black Mercy in last week's episode, she finds herself on Krypton and is confronted by Jor-El. However, she has no memory of who she is or how she got there. In their spaceship, Jimmy tries to wake Lois. Kara tells him it's no use as Brainiac is in control of the Black Mercy simulation. As they re-enter Earth's atmosphere, Jimmy starts broadcasting live on Flamebird, asking for help from the people of Metropolis. His broadcast is interrupted when their ship is cut in half by a laser fired by Amanda Waller. Kara saves Jimmy and Lois, warning Marla and the Brain to get away. Amanda Waller, Agent Wilson, and Lex Luthor arrive to arrest Jimmy, Kara, and the unconscious Lois, and with kryptonite in Waller's possession, there's nothing they can do to resist. When Jimmy tries to warn them about the alien invasion, they are taken away. Jor-El and Lara interrogate Lois, but there's nothing she can tell them as she has no memory of who she is or why she's there. Unable to determine how Lois was able to get into the simulation, Brainiac, as Jor-El and Lara, needs to investigate more to eliminate the glitch. Alone in her cell, Kal-El approaches. He has brought Lois some cake, unsure if she has eaten. Lois is suspicious of his motives at first, but when he introduces himself and they shake hands, the touch of Clark's hand brings back all of Lois's memories. She tries to remind Clark who he really is, but he's confused and unsure. Jor-El and Lara appear and attempt to delete Lois from the simulation. Instead of being deleted, Lois is returned to the beginning of her arrival in the simulation, much to Brainiac, Jor-El's dissatisfaction. Incarcerated in the back of Waller's van, things don't look good for Jimmy and Kara when the van is blockaded. Perry White and the staff of the Daily Planet confront Waller. Jimmy's arrest was live-streamed, and Waller is violating the Fourth Amendment of the American Constitution by arresting a member of the press. While Waller is distracted, Steve Lombard breaks Jimmy, Kara, and Lois out from the back of the van. They escape in Lombard's Wolfpack van. As Agent Wilson is about to pursue the van, Brainiac's ship emerges from a portal in the skies above the city. Lois once again tries to convince Kal-El that he's Clark Kent. When he asks her why she's risked everything to rescue him if her story is indeed true, Lois stumbles over her answer as Jor-El and Lara interrupt once again, ordering Kal-El to leave. When Lois realizes they can't erase her from the simulation, Clark returns with cake. Jor-El resets the simulation and Lois is back at square one once again. Over and over she attempts to evade Jor-El and Lara and get to Clark. Unable to find Lois, Jor-El and Lara search everywhere. However, Lois is with Kal-El where she first emerged into the simulation. She confesses to him that she's desperately in love with him. Her profession of love triggers something for Kal-El, who remembers her name is Lois. As they escape in Steve Lombard's van, Jimmy tries to come up with a plan. Kara thinks it's hopeless and bemoans everything that has happened to her. She thinks she's a failure. Lombard tells her that Superman has failed plenty of times, but he keeps trying and that makes him a hero. Kara was bred to be a weapon. She doesn't think she can be a hero. Jimmy tells her she can decide who she wants to be. Clark's memories are all jumbled. He's not sure what's real. He doesn't think the real Lois would come to rescue him. This sends Lois on a rant about all the things she's been through to reach him. Clark is convinced, but Jor-El arrives, attacks him in an effort to regain control. As Jor-El flies in for a devastating blow, Lois steps in front of him and is somehow able to hold off his attack. On Earth, Brainiac, in Superman's body, emerges from the ship. Brainiac gives the people of Earth a choice: surrender and he will make the planet the jewel of the Kryptonian Empire, resist and they will be destroyed. When Waller attacks with firepower, Brainiac is unharmed. As he's about to retaliate, Kara punches him in the face. As Kara and Brainiac fight above the streets of Metropolis, Lex Luthor launches his platoon of kryptonite-powered Metallo robots into action. In the simulation, Lois wonders how she was able to do what she did. Clark says as the simulation is happening in his mind, Lois is as he sees her, the strongest person he knows. As Lois tells Clark all the reasons she loves him, the pair kiss, and the spell is completely broken. As Superman and Lois, they attempt to leave the simulation, but when they're at first unable to break through the barrier, they combine their efforts and strike it again and again. Unlike Brainiac, they're not alone. They've got each other. The simulation is destroyed. Lois wakes up in the back of Lombard's van. As she and Jimmy look up in the sky, Brainiac in Superman's body is being pursued by the Metallos. However, the spell is broken and Superman falls from the sky. Brainiac awakens in his old robotic body aboard the spaceship. He's incensed and vows to destroy Earth. Brainiac creates a kryptonite shield to protect himself from the radiation and destroys most of the Metallo robots. He then primes his ship's beam to destroy Earth, but it is intercepted by Kara. As Brainiac prepares to fire again, Superman arrives to save the day. Appearing in an updated Superman costume, the Man of Steel and his cousin join forces to stop Brainiac once and for all. However, Brainiac has his own plans and takes over the remaining Metallo robots. Waller demands Lex control the Metallos, but Lex can do nothing. Brainiac has hacked into his systems. As they fly towards Brainiac's ship, both Kara and Superman are attacked by the kryptonite-powered Metallos. Brainiac prepares to fire his weapon. With Superman and Supergirl down for the count, it appears as though Brainiac has won. I gave this episode a 5 out of 5 rating. My Adventures with Superman really knows how to ramp up the action in the final episodes of a season. Season 1's final 2 episodes were epic, and Season's 2 penultimate episode is no different. The bond between Superman and Lois has always been a focal point of the Superman mythos, and this show plays with that theme in such a strong way. It's that bond which makes this episode so good. I love how, even in a Kryptonian simulation, Clark remains who he is at his very core. He's still kind and caring no matter the situation. His willingness to be patient and listen is as much a reason for his ultimate escape as is Lois's persistence. Speaking of Lois, what an episode for her to shine. I loved how her stubbornness and never-say-die attitude became a thorn in Brainiac's side. The fact that she never gives up, never stops trying to reach Clark no matter how many times the simulation is reset, it was Lois Lane at her best. Her Superman moment was awesome, allowing Lois to be the hero, for her to save Clark, and to do it in a way that was both physical and emotional was fantastic writing. While Jimmy and Kara didn't have a lot to do this episode, they were still pivotal to the story. Jimmy's speech to Kara when they're captured is what I love about this version of this character. He's done it for Clark so many times in the past, it's only fitting that he does the same for Kara. I think Clark would be proud of his cousin. Kara is dealing with a lot. The realization that her father isn't who she thought he was, and the things he's done and continues to do, that's a lot to process. For her to stand up to him and fight for Earth is a big step forward for Kara. This isn't Brainiac's greatest episode, not from his perspective anyway. The character is still awesome, but so much is going wrong for him. There's so much frustration and confusion. It's fun to watch. I love how he keeps referring to Lois as the glitch. I loved how the Daily Planet staff came to Lois and Jimmy's rescue. Lombard's involvement was a riot as always. Go Steve. Waller and Lex were out of their depth here. Lex has suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of Brainiac. I wonder if he'll bounce back from this. Waller's next move will be interesting to watch as well. I have no doubt it will all come to a head in the season finale next week. I can't wait. I'm not sure what I make of Superman's new look yet. It's not a drastic change, but the additional embellishments to the costume's design do give it a more of a Kryptonian vibe. I did enjoy the moment he transformed from Brainiac's control. Actually, this episode had a couple of great moments, from Lois stopping Jor-El, Brainiac, to Lois and Clark's kiss, to Superman's transformation. There were some heart-swelling moments that really lifted this episode. All in all, this was probably the strongest episode of Season 2 to date. I'm excited for the season finale. I'm Steve Younis from SupermanHomepage.com.